Hey everyone, I'm John, and today I want to talk about how I plan my years. Now, cut back about 3 years or so, this is when I kind of had an idea of I really should plan my life to get the results that I want instead of just hoping that things will happen organically. So I started to adopt a different system, especially a planning system at the beginning of the new year. My first system was more or less just trying to get 2 or 3 large goals and kind of just shoot for them. Not really systemically, just kind of go for it. My second attempt was a bit better. It was a bit more specific, and I would actually have goals and specific outcomes of if I was going to be on track to get to those goals. Now I've settled on more or less kind of a template of a system that I've used over the last few years that helped me run a half marathon, learn a new programming language, and a lot of other things as well. So today I want to share with you my life template, and we're just going to go through each different area and kind of talk about what I go through with regards to planning for 2021. Now, the first thing is my purpose and values, and this is kind of the top of my pyramid with regards to what is my personal philosophy in the world, what are my principles that I kind of live by, and also what are my values, what do I actually care about in the world. So I'll ask myself different questions like, who am I? What do I want? How do I want to get it? Those type of things. I'll ask myself other different questions like, what is the purpose of all this stuff? Why does it even matter? And I'll kind of give myself a future question like, where do I see myself in 5 years? Now, once I'm done with that, I kind of move on to this idea of a vision and a mission. And the vision is really just looking into the future, about 3 to 5 years or so, and the more defined the better, but at the same time, I mean, we're looking into the future 3 to 5 years. It's going to be a little bit vague. So the first thing that I usually do is a visualization exercise. I'll just kind of think about my year in kind of a recap. Like if I were to about to start the new year, how would I think about it if as I were reflecting upon the year ending? So I'll ask myself different questions like what happened and what didn't happen? What went well and what didn't go so well? What were the hardest challenges, and also what were the favorite moments that you had? And most importantly, what did you actually learn that year? The next thing I do is I will create a vision board, and I will put everything that inspires me with regards to how I want to look, things that I might possess, like a house or a car, a location that I might live in, a skill that I might want to learn, like cooking, a lot of those different types of things. And I'll just put them in kind of like Notion or something like that so that I can visually see them every single day. There's a fun fact there for vision boards. If you actually do the exercise of making a vision board, you are more likely to succeed in your vision. Okay, now I'll move on to a vision statement. And I kind of create a vision statement which is about 25 words of how I kind of want to pursue the next year. And the one that I came up with this year is to empower everyone to achieve more and better myself every day, to educate and inspire others, to dream big and fail often. Now, once I have all the vision work done, I will then move on to goals and outcomes that I want to happen in the next year. So goals to me are just the high level direction of where I want to go. And it's usually something that can be measured with a, did you complete it or did you not? An outcome, however, is a little bit different. It's kind of like a milestone on your goal, but you can also measure it in a way that kind of makes sense. So I have a lot of different goals for 2021. Like one goal is to run a marathon. Another goal is to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube. And a third goal it might be to write and publish a book. Each one of these goals has a quarter that I plan to finish in the year. So Q1 might be by April, Q2 might be by the summer, so on and so forth. Outcomes, however, are a little bit different. They're smaller time frames, and also they don't have to necessarily be quarter based. So for running a marathon, one of the outcomes that will help me run a marathon is to do my 18-week marathon training program. Now, because there's 18 weeks, I can already measure how many weeks I have to do this. And for example, I'm already on week 6, so I'm already 1/3 the way done with that goal, even though it's going to go into the next year. Now, the reason why I like outcomes is because you can actually measure them as you're continually going on. And this kind of allows you to really dream big with your goals. It just has to be a direction and something that you either accomplish or you don't. I love to see how I can become a better writer by saying, I just want to write 3 articles in this category. Now, for both of goals and outcomes, I have what's known as like an area of responsibility. This just helps me balance out my life a bit more, because in the past I used to be really heavy on like tech and business and entrepreneurship, but now I'm a little bit older, have a little bit more responsibilities, and so I cherish a lot more things than just those. So I want to kind of have a well-balanced life of, you know, family and health and, you know, some business, that type of stuff. And these areas of responsibility just really help me see at a quick glance of whether I have a well-balanced plan or if I do not. Okay, now to projects. Projects are just a collection of different actions or behaviors we're going to take, and it's going to have a set deadline. So for example, if I wanted to launch a technical product manager course, that has a bunch of actions and kind of behaviors that I have to do to make that happen. And if I said I wanted that project to happen by the end of the first quarter, I would have to have this done by April. So you might be asking, what is an action and what's a behavior? Well, we're going to talk about that next. Now, an action or a behavior, you can really just call these habits. They're going to help you get one step closer to a goal, an outcome, a project, so on and so forth. Now, the difference of an action or a behavior is that they have to have a context and a priority. This is kind of based on the getting things done by David Allen concepts, but this really helps you just kind of categorize what you need to do in terms of taking action. This is a little bit different than a to-do list. Rather than just kind of having stuff to do, these are more intentional actions or behaviors that you need to do to get a little bit closer each day. So that's how I plan for 2021. I do this all in Notion, and I also had a stream earlier that you can check out to kind of see how I went through all this, and I'll also put a template in the description as well. But I also want to talk about 3 things that I believe you need to have in your routine to make your 2021 goals happen for real. The first thing is that you should be doing a daily journal. This is where you're going to plan tasks for your days, and you're also going to reflect upon, did you complete those tasks at all? You're going to write about different things, what's on your mind, events that are coming up, different tasks or errands you have to run. And really the purpose of this is to get everything out of our heads so that we can focus on better things. And then at the end of the day, just a quick checklist. Tidy up your workspace, clean up your environment, all those different types of things. The next is weekly planning. And weekly planning is really important because it helps you identify the big task that you need to accomplish in that week. And then you can boil that down when you're doing your daily journaling or daily planning so that you know exactly how to get there. And then at the end of the week, you can reflect upon, did you do that? Did you need more time? What are you going to push off to the next week? Things like that. And then you can also go through a checklist for every single week when you end. Go through all your email, get to inbox 0, clean up your downloads, a lot of those different things that just help you reset every single week. And the last thing is a monthly reflection. You can also plan your months, but it's really important to just reflect upon each one of these milestones. Your months are, usually 4 weeks. Your weeks are usually 7 days. And this just helps you have an opportunity to kind of check in with yourself every so often. I feel like when we kind of ignore ourselves and we just get stuck in the daily grind, that's where a lot of our goals kind of fall and fail. It's because we need to be reminded every so often of what we're set out to accomplish. And when you're doing daily, weekly, and monthly kind of planning and reflection, this really helps you just kind of get that bump. That bump that really helps you remember these things. Okay, so we talked about kind of how I go through planning for 2021, and then we also talked about how we can kind of check in with ourselves every so often during 2021. I hope that this video has helped you, especially for planning for 2021. I wish you the best of luck, and also don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Take care.